Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Pourtable. I'm going to be doing a best controller settings video for you guys today. I'm not going to be doing it like most of these videos that you see when you look up best controller settings in chapter 2 season 5 where they just scroll through and don't explain anything and just expect you guys to copy and paste all their settings. I'm going to be kind of walking you guys through it, letting you guys know why I have some settings turned on and why I have some off, and just kind of give you my X and Y's and stuff like that I have for my controller. So just hopping right into it. I'll play on full screen. You shouldn't be playing on window full screen or anything like that. It's going to cause issues with frames. Resolution 1920 by 1080, 240 frames per second. I play on an Acer Predator monitor, and it caps out at 240. So if you guys are playing on a 144 hertz monitor, you should be playing obviously and capping that at 144. I have brightness at 100. User interface contrast. This is all personal preference to you guys. I keep mine on 1.1 because I like it a little bit darker. As you can see, it gets lighter, it gets darker. That's completely up to you guys. I keep mine on 1.1. Colorblind mode is off. It says 5, but that doesn't mean anything. There's no need for anybody to be playing colorblind this season because it's not going to help you look in Storm, obviously, unless you're colorblind. But there's no need to have this on. If you're just trying to use it for advantages while you're fighting in Storm, because that's not really going to help. 3D resolution, I play on 100%. I do see some pros playing at 90%. And the reason they play at that is so in the late games they can get more frames in the late game, and their performance is going to be a lot more smooth rather than keeping it at 100. If your PC can't handle 100% and you guys are seeing that you're having problems in the late game with your frames dropping to a crazy ridiculous amount of like 60, 70, 80 frames, try bumping that down to 90%. It's going to look a little blurry, but if you guys need some extra help with that and you're having performance issues, I definitely suggest that. I play on view distance far, shadows off, anti-aliasing off. All of these, if the higher you go, the more it's going to take away from your performance. So if you don't have the greatest PC, for you guys, just keep this all on low settings. I have textures on high because for me, I actually have a pretty decent PC and I want my game to still look good while I'm playing it, both for the content side and for when I'm streaming on Twitch. I've got effects on low. I could probably put that on medium. I just keep it on low. I didn't really see like a huge difference when I went from low to medium or anything like that. Post-processing, same for me. I have a better PC, so I want to keep that a little bit higher for me because it makes the game look a little bit better for me. And I'm able to still keep over 200 frames pretty much all the time. VSync I have off, motion blur off, show FPS is on, rendering mode is on DirectX 11. If you guys don't have a great PC, I have a lot of people who are playing on performance mode, and I highly suggest that you guys go try that out. But I've actually tried it once, and I just didn't like the mobile look to it. Just didn't vibe well with me. So I'm gonna keep mine on DirectX 11. Allow multi-threaded rendering. I keep that on. Use GPU crash debugging off. Latency markers on. NVIDIA Reflex low latency on plus boost. So this is supposed to help with latency issues with your controller and the input delay that you guys could get on PC. So I suggest if you guys have an NVIDIA card, I'd put that on plus boost. Latency flash off, DLSS off as well. I play with sprint by default. If you guys are still having to mash down your L3 to sprint in this game, I'd say really give this a try because you'll see a definite improvement in your game if you guys try this out. I use auto open doors, so like when I'm making an edit, if I accidentally, when I'm in a build fight, if I make a door edit, my character can continue to walk through it no problem and not slow me down at all. And then I use hold to swap pickup. I have that on there, but I actually don't use it a whole lot. Basically what that is if you're holding a shotgun and you want to swap that shotgun out with something different, you just hold the interact button rather than having to pick it up, drop it out of your inventory, and then just wasting all that extra time because you don't need to be doing that. Toggle targeting off, mark danger when targeting on, auto pickup weapons. I don't think anybody should be using that unless you're just having issues where you're in a 50-50 drop off spawn and you really want to try to land on somebody and take that weapon first. I would just keep that off. Auto sort consumables to right. So basically what that is it just as soon as you pick up any kind of heals, whether that's minis, medkits, bandages, whatever, it auto sorts it all the way to the right side. That way it keeps those first 2 slots free for your weapons or however many slots you guys use. So for me, I use pump, SMG, heal item, or some kind of mobility depending on the season, and then I put my AR in that last slot. That just feels comfortable for me. Reset building choice is on. Disable pre-edit option is on. Now the thing about this is if you make an edit while you're actually holding out your builds, that pre-edit's going to stay there until you cycle off of your build bind. So if you go to your pickaxe or your AR or whatever it may be, and then you come back into the build option, that pre-edit will then be gone. Turbo building on, confirm edit on release on. I like confirm edit on release. I don't like having to press one more button. I'm just trying to minimize the amount of buttons I'm actually having to press in order to do an action. Contextual tips off. Invert view off. Invert airborne controls off. Turbo delete and creative mode on. Video highlights off. Peripheral lighting on. Tap to search interact on. And then record replays. I have all the replays off because that's just going to hurt you guys' performance and your frames that you get, especially in the late game scenarios. And if you guys are, obviously if you're on PC, your replays are actually saving to a folder on your PC. So now it's taking up more storage on your computer, which then in turn is gonna, hurt the performance in game for you guys. So if you're not actively going into your replays, checking stuff out, I would go ahead and turn those off for performance issues. For HUD scale, I got an 80. I have everything on right here except for latency debug stats, which is just basically telling you the latency issues with your controller or how many milliseconds you're getting with your controller, and input delay and stuff like that. I don't really need that on my screen. Creative runtime performance, I have that off as well. Nothing with the keyboard because this is a controller video, of course. For me, guys, I play with the Astro C40. I've got 2 paddles on the back. I use my right one to edit. I use my left one to jump. If you guys are looking for a controller to be using, I highly suggest the Astro. It feels so good in the hands, and you've got the 2 paddles on the back, of course. So if somebody like me, I didn't like the Scuff controllers because there were 4 paddles on there and I only used 2 of them, maybe 3. So it was good for me to transition over to a controller that had only 2 paddles on the back. And what's also cool is you can transition between an Xbox layout and a PlayStation loadout. And I've got the PlayStation loadout on my controller. Edit hold time. We're just going to jump right into this. I have this on 0.1. Keep that on the lowest setting because you don't want there to be any delay when you're trying to edit. Vibration off. Build mode sensitivity multiplier on 2.0 and have my edit on 1.9. Now, if you guys are playing competitively and are looking for more consistent gameplay and smoother gameplay, I would say keep this below 2.0. Anything past that, you're just going to be more inconsistent. And it's just going to be for, flashy clips that you guys post on TikTok, YouTube, whatever it may be. But if you're playing competitively and if you're just looking for smoother gameplay, I would say that you guys need to keep this at 2.0 or lower. I have a look horizontal speed at 44% and a look vertical speed at 54%. Now, the reason I have this 10% difference is because when I'm using a shotgun and I'm in a fight, I'm not going to save that. So if I say I'm in a fight with somebody and I have the shotgun pointed at their stomach or their chest, I want to be able to raise that up a lot quicker. So if I'm in the box with them, instead of it taking this long to get up, I just want to be able to flip up real quick and be able to hit them in the head, obviously for more damage. So if you guys can get used to that extra 10%, I would suggest that you guys do that. I know people like Reet actually plays with a 10% difference in his. So I would suggest that you guys try that out. Most pro players are going to play in the 40% range, because I've seen like 42%, 44%, 46%, and they play that with both X and the Y. So if you guys are looking to be more consistent and kind of want to have some of the pro settings, I would say probably 44, 44 or 46, 46, something around that range. Horizontal boost, vertical boost ramp time, I say keep all that off because that's just going to cause inconsistency in your gameplay with having all these different boosts. Because if you turn right and it boosts up and then you turn left and then it just catches another boost, that's just going to throw you guys off. So I would suggest that you guys keep those off. ADS look horizontal speed I have on 12%. ADS for the vertical I also have 12%. You'll see some pros play at like 8% or 10%. And they're just doing that because they don't want their reticle to be moving a whole lot when they're ADSing down sights. But with them doing that, their close range fights and their close range ADS is going to take a hit because they just can't keep up with the character when they're moving and they can't track them as well. So if they're on 8%, their mid to long range is going to be good, but their close range is definitely going to take a hit. And also if you're playing on 15% or something like that, your close range may be good, your mid range may be okay, but that long range shot is not going to be where you need it to be. So I kind of found a happy medium at 12%. Obviously, you guys can do all the aim training maps on the game, and you guys can find the best things for you. But I would say start out here if you guys are having trouble with your shots right now and just the consistency and not being able to track people. I would suggest that you guys try these settings out right here. Look, dampening time, I actually have this on 0.20. Now, this is something new that I've actually been researching here recently. And it was something that I was kind of confused by, really didn't know a whole lot about. But, you know, for me, my tracking was actually taking a hit, especially at the mid to long range. So I was like, what can I do that's going to help me when I'm ADSing down sight? And then I found some videos on the look dampening time. So the look dampening time, what that is so if I didn't have that on at all, so as soon as I ADS, my ADS speed is going to be at 12%, right? So with the look dampening time, if you're just wanting to make a small adjustment, a very small adjustment, for you to touch your right stick and then move it, it's going to take 0.2 seconds, right? If you have look dampening time on 0.2 seconds like I do, it's going to take that right stick 0.2 seconds to reach that 12% ADS speed. So essentially what's going to happen is when you ADS and you have a 0.2, I'll show you again. When you guys have a 0.2 look dampening time, what that's going to do is for that first 0.2 seconds that you're actually touching your right stick, your ADS is going to be at like 6% or 8% until it hits 0.2 seconds. So for right now, as soon as I touch my controller, it's not going to go all the way up to 12%. It's going to stay low. And then once it hits that 0.2%, 0.2 seconds, I mean to say, then it's going to jump up to the full 12%. So if you guys are just trying to make small adjustments, I would say try that setting out and see how you guys like it. I've seen a lot of improvement in my tracking and in my mid to long range shots for sure. If you guys are kind of confused on that, come ask me questions on my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Pourtable. If you guys want to ask me anything about that live, or you can just put in the comment sections like, hey, I need a little bit more information, I really didn't understand what you said, just hit me up. I do play on linear. I feel like linear is really going to help you guys with building and editing and being more consistent. Obviously with Expo, it builds up over time, kind of like what Legacy almost used to be. Linear is as soon as you hit your controller, it's going to that speed. Exponential, it's going to take time for it to build and reach its max speed. Which I feel like just causes with consistency, and it's just gonna cause you guys to just be more inconsistent. Left stick dead zone, I've got that at 28%. Now the reason I have mine at 28% is because when I'm actually moving forward, it really doesn't mean a whole lot because I've got sprint by default on, and I have L3 binded to my build bind to pull up my builds. So when I'm sitting there trying to pull up my builds, I didn't want my character to be moving back and forth while I'm just trying to press that. So it's actually going to take a little bit more pressure for me, for my controller to actually start moving. But for me, since I have sprint by default on, it's okay for me to have a higher left dead zone. That really doesn't mean a whole lot. I would say on your right stick dead zone, you don't want to go past 15% though. I have mine on 12. Most people will play 10 and 10 for both of their dead zones. But I actually like to play on 12% for myself because I actually do have stick drift in my right thumbstick. So if you guys are having issues with your like stick drift and stuff like that, you guys can raise this by 1% until you feel comfortable and feel like your character's not going to be doing this when you're not even touching the controller. You know what I mean? If you guys are having issues with that, raise that by 1% until that stick drift kind of goes away. That should be almost it for all of that. Enable foot controller, nobody really knows anything about that. I'll let you guys copy and paste this. This is all personal preference for you guys, but this is what I play on. And then for this, like I said, everything's pretty basic. I use L3 to pull out my builds, B to place my marker because that's where my switch mode used to be. And I actually use edit in this left D-pad because that was a bind that I wasn't using for anything. So I went ahead and programmed that to be my right paddle. So you guys will see if I'm on stream or something like that, you guys will, like if I have the controller overlay on, you'll see that I'm pressing this, but actually I'm pressing my paddle for editing and stuff like that. I know a lot of people actually like to use L3, but I use that for my switch mode. Everything's pretty basic for the most part. Yeah. And that should be it for all the controller settings. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you made it to the end here, I really do appreciate you guys. If you're not subbed to YouTube, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. Hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the content. And if you guys ever want to watch me while I'm playing live, I do stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Pourtable. You guys want to come in there and hang out with me for a little bit, ask me any questions that you guys may have. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next YouTube video. I'm going to be trying to post at least once a week, maybe once I get more consistent, maybe twice a week. Most of the time it's going to be on Saturday or Sunday uploads. I know today is probably, I don't know when I'm going to be posting this video yet, just whenever I find the time. But I'm going to try to be consistent and be posting on Sundays. So if you guys want to hit that red subscribe button, hit that like button, post in the comments any questions that you guys may have, or maybe even just post in the comments what controller settings that you guys use that you feel like I could implement into my game and to help me improve myself. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.